Alright, today we are going to make a floating candle that you can use for a Harry Potter party or a Halloween party, or anytime you just want to have cool, creepy candles. We've got a list of what we need. This is a pretty simple activity. We start out with a candle. You can use any candle that's battery operated and LED. We've got the cardstock. Cream works better than white. Then we have our glue gun and an extra glue stick. We will be using quite a bit of glue, so it's nice to just have one handy in case. We're also going to be using fishing line, and we need a long needle because that fishing line is going to go all the way through. So your needle, we want to start with the short side and not the long side. As you can see, our candle is pretty long, and getting it turned on when it's even longer this way is almost impossible. So we're going to do the short side, and we take it and wrap it around, and I like to do it without the glue first because the paper's thick and it can sometimes fight you. And you just get it, push it down, make sure that it's kind of straight, roll it up like you're making a spyglass, and let it open up. And then when you go to glue it, the paper kind of has a memory and it likes to go on a little bit easier. So we'll take our glue gun. Anytime you're working with hot glue, you want to make sure that you are careful because, as we all know, it hurts when you touch it. That glue is really hot. You want to do a little bit at a time because the hot glue does cool down and harden up rather quickly. As you go along. And you're trying to line it up with the top edge of the candle. And if it's not perfectly straight, that's okay. Just keep going until you've made your first loop. And we will continue around till we run out of paper. Okay, now for the end, I like to put it onto the paper instead so that the glue finishes exactly where the paper is going to end. So you see we've got a little bit crooked there, but that's not too bad. And we just kind of hold it in place. We'll take the glue gun and run it along this edge here. And get that stuck down. And you want to be careful because it will squish out. And it is hot. I like to roll it onto the table, and that gives it even pressure while it's hardening. Okay. Now that that's on there, and you see there's a little bit left over. We'll trim that at the end to make sure that it's nice and flat on the bottom. Okay, that's not a perfect seam, but you know what? It's not a big deal. We are going to run a bead of glue down here. A nice thick bead, and then we are going to come back and add a drip. Another drip, and that's already looks like a drip, and seal off that edge. Let's take another bead and bring it around the top edge. And be careful not to touch your hot glue. Okay, this just gives it a nice melted candle look on top. Okay, we've got a long bead. Now we're going to go around and make other wax strips all the way around. And we're going to want to vary the length of them. This one's rather long, so I'll do one that's short and then do one that's medium. And I go all the way down first. And then I come back with a drip. That was kind of a skinny one. Stuck. Okay, that's a good one. Move on to the next one. We'll do a medium, so in between. Okay, then we do our drips. And they don't have to be perfect because wax drips would never be perfect. They would never be in a straight line. Okay. Do a big drip. And when you're doing your drips, try not to line them up from one to another so that they look more natural. So that's it, your candle is done. And let that dry for just a second. And we will come back and do the fishing line. Okay, now that it's all cooled off, and it's not gonna burn me this time, I'm gonna take the scissors and trim that little edge off. Okay, we've got our needle threaded with the fishing line, and we want to feel it's hard, hard, hard candle, and then it's soft right there. It means the candle is done. I like to push it through right there at the side of a bead, and then you see how I'm keeping it nice and straight. We need to make sure that the candle doesn't hang crooked. The fishing line has to hang directly in the center. Now this is going to be hard to push through, so if you want to place some pressure on your desk or your tabletop to get it all the way through, that is okay. There's several layers of cardstock here. Now you want to make sure that you don't pull both ends of the string through, just one side, and then I take it off of the needle. And line them up and tie them off. And you want to, if you're making more than one, which I recommend, a dozen of these looks pretty amazing hanging from the ceiling, and making them hang at slightly different heights is really fun because then they actually appear to be floating. Works. And we now have 2 hanging candles that will make a wonderful addition to our Harry Potter feast.